View from the Gutters, episode 89.
Welcome to View from the Gutters, the comic book podcast where each episode we discuss a collected edition, trade paperback, or graphic novel, and then recommend and vote on the book for the next episode. Warning: the discussion portion of this show has massive spoilers for that book.
On this episode, we discuss Wonder Woman, Hiketeia, and, to skip ahead to the recommendations section, skip to 4031.
Welcome to View from the Gutters, episode 89. I'm Tobiah Panshin. No, we're going.
I'm Joe Preti. God damn it.
I'm Kayleigh Fleeman.
I'm Brant Gillihan-Eddy.
And I'm Cade Reynolds.
God, you are all just the most hesitant motherfuckers.
Well, you were just threatening physical violence.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was worried.
He beats us when
As
we're not
long
on the
as
air.
you know how to say your name and don't say it like it's a question, nobody has to get hurt.
You don't know
but
where
what
the
if
accent is on my name.
What if I fuck up? What if...
Why would you fuck up?
I don't know. I get nervous under
know what
pressure.
your name is?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I was gonna tell this to Brant last week, and I totally forgot. I was in the car the other day, and with Kerbo, and we were talking about hyphenated names versus like just whatever. And she's like, "No, you don't hyphenate the names. What you do is you combine them together." And so
Like
we
Voltron?
figured out that we could actually combine our last names into preteen. Decided we're going to be Joe and Kirby preteen.
That seems like a bad idea.
That seems
like the best idea.
Because she's like preteen, and I'm like, no, it's not preteen, it's preteen.
See, that would leave my wife and I with Gilla-Eddy or Eddie-Han.
Eddie Hand, that's it.
Well, no, but see, if you get your daughter to change her name also, then when her boyfriends talk about her, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm dating a preteen."
This is when.
That was pretty much that. The jokes write themselves from that point.
That's perfect. So,
have you met the preteens?
Oh my god. So this week we're talking about the Hiketeia. And Brant, you pitched Hiketeia.
Yes, I did.
What did you think about it on the reread?
On the reread. I liked it. I continue to like it. What I didn't know, because I did some research, was that for some reason I thought this came out in like the middle of Rucka's run, but this was actually before his run on Wonder Woman.
Yeah, this is actually like a standalone story.
Well, yeah, I knew that it was a standalone, but for some reason I thought it was just a premiere thing that came out while he was writing Wonder Woman.
Okay.
No,
Isn't
instead he wrote
what
this.
started his run?
Well, he wrote this, then a year later he gets put on the regular book. So
But because of this,
I would
wasn't
assume,
it?
yeah, because it was really well received. I like it. J.G. Jones's art, blah, 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 blah,
Jiu-jitsu?
is not like my favorite, but I think it does really well. I think there's some great single moments.
I actually really, really like the art in this series. Especially all the splash pages.
Yeah, there's some really good beats and some good moments, and I really like the way Rucka characterizes Wonder Woman. I like the fact that she feels like a multi-dimensional character, which I think was something the character felt like it was lacking up until that point, where it was kind of like she was meant to be all women everywhere, but then because of that, she didn't have like a personality outside of like, I'm Wonder Woman, and in this, she actually is like emotive. I mean, some of the JLA stories had some good Diana moments, but
yeah, I definitely think that
vibrant.
there's an element of this story that you only really get from the context of knowing what Wonder Woman has been like in other things and the way in which she's been treated at other times. Like, I think that there's a lot of context that really matters there that makes this story stand out. Because just reading it in isolation, I actually had some problems with it. I thought it was about 50 pages too short. I think that it could have stood to have more character development, especially between Wonder Woman and, God, what's the girl's name? Which, of course, I forgot immediately.
It's Danielle, isn't it? Danny?
Sure.
Danny
And
something from
I
somewhere.
had severe misgivings about the ending. Like, I think it ends too quickly without resolving its core conflict.
No, I don't. I think that's the point. There is no resolution. That's why Orestes is brought up. There is no resolution of the core conflict.
It's specifically patterned after a Greek tragedy.
Yeah.
So it's meant.
Right.
It is. This is
that
the Kobayashi Maru. This is the no-win situation. There is no resolution. There is one choice that leads to one destination, another choice that leads to another destination. Both are equally tragic. And I think that it's supposed to kind of be unsettling because I think what it does is very similarly to A League of One, showcases the fact that Wonder Woman has it goes beyond the thing I like the most about this, because I loved this story the first time I read it, and I think I liked it even more this time, is that Batman is somebody that is like, I am justice. I will be the justice for those that can get right. But like Diana, she is grounded in, I don't want to say morality because that feels too fluid, but her
Ethics.
word is truly her bond. She is not duplicitous. She is not.
She's ethical.
Yeah, exactly. And her ethics are fucking ironclad. And the fact that she puts herself between her friend and this woman that she does not know because she gave her word to this ritual, I think speaks to that. And I think it speaks to it in a way that I don't know that it would have been effective had...
I agree with you that that's what's happening. And I really like the question that's being posed. Wonder Woman, how far will you take your ethical principles? Will you fight your friend to uphold your word? Will you injure or even potentially kill your friend to uphold an oath that you gave? And, going back to what you were saying about the Greek tragedy, that there are two paths and they both end in tragedy. Those two paths are either Wonder Woman breaks her oath and lets Batman take the girl, or Wonder Woman does what she has to do to stop Batman from taking her, which is a tragedy because it means her having to harm or even potentially kill her friend. And those two choices are both subverted by the woman choosing to kill herself. And you don't get any kind of catharsis out of that.
I kind of think that's the point. I don't think this is supposed to be cathartic. I think it's supposed to be...
I don't see any ending in here where
tragedies are supposed to be cathartic.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think tragedies can be cathartic, but I don't necessarily...
My understanding of Greek tragedies is that there's supposed to be a sense of catharsis. It's a Greek word. That's where it comes from.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that Rucka is many things, but a slave to the form, he is not.
I don't think that he's a slave to the form. I think he emulated it, and I think he emulated it really well.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's I think that that was a specific decision.
I guess here's my question, Toby. What would you have done differently to give it a different resolution in the kind that you are?
Besides giving everybody a beard.
Well, that's what I would do in everything.
Clearly.
And I just 100% aside, Marvel right now is doing their 8 months later thing.
And everybody has beards?
Yeah, and everybody has beards. And it is 100% awesome.
Yeah.
Reed Richards has a beard. Captain Britain has a beard. Hyperion has a beard. It's great. In any case, but to answer your question, Cade, I honestly don't know. And that's why I wanted it so much. Because you had this incredible ramping up of tension of what's going to happen between these characters, what's going to break. And at the end, the conflict is basically cast aside. There is a resolution. Well, there's a resolution in the sense that things end, but there isn't a resolution in the sense that nothing is learned, nobody has to change, nobody has to make a decision, except the girl, insofar as she decides to kill herself, takes the decision out of everybody else's hand.
Right.
And I found that unsatisfying.
But that's the tragic part of it, is that ultimately Wonder Woman is put into the position of having to defend her honorable moral, or honorable word, even despite the fact that it is against even her own notion of justice, because it's so important to her core being. And so ultimately, the resolution is that Diana is punished. She's alienated from both her friends and her own personal sense of justice by defending someone that she normally wouldn't necessarily have done so, except she accepts that her traditions and her person are important, and so she takes on this role. So the tragedy is that the girl realizes the only way to release Diana from the bondage of her own self-imposed issue is to destroy herself. So yeah, Batman and Wonder Woman don't necessarily have a great cry and hug it out after on the last panel, but the resolution is that basically you now know, as a matter of course, that Wonder Woman is this inherently moral. You're right. Like, moral is not the right word. Principled being.
I like principled.
And that sets her an opposite to even those she considers her closest allies in certain circumstances. And I don't think you're supposed to walk away with, because it's a one shot, it's not part of the greater narrative. You're not supposed to have any kind of sense of connectivity to it, any specific event. It's just this, behold Diane in her full glory as this principled being. And is it not tragic? The muses do weep. That it would cause her great discord with her friends and cause emotional discomfort for her person.
The question I did give to you as what you would have done differently was a trick question. I have never been able to answer those, especially when talking about a writer such as Greg Rucka.
And sometimes I do know the answer to that, but in response to what Brant was saying, I think that my counterpoint to that is that I think it's fine for this to be like a standalone story, but I think it needed a little bit more at the end, some sort of conversation between Diana and Batman where they talk about what's happened. Whether or not that's them hugging it out like she and Clark do at the end of A League of One, or whether it's them going, we can't let this happen again, and Batman going like, if you go up against me, this is exactly what's going to happen again, because neither of us is going to be willing to back down then either. But I feel like it needed something to that effect.
I do. My copy with me, so
I do believe that this book should have been longer.
Yeah, like it was about 100 pages, and I wanted it to be like 150, and maybe 105 would have done, but I definitely wanted a little bit more out of it than I got.
I finished the book, and I was like, where's the rest? Even if that had been the resolution, I would have been fine with that. But I think there should have been more meat in it.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked another meat. And that's not to say that I didn't like this book. I did enjoy it. I liked it. I found it somewhat unsatisfying.
Yeah, no, I did really like it. I would have liked more about the Aranese. Or Aranese. I don't know how to say it.
I think Aranese is...
Yeah.
Aranese.
Sounds about right.
The Furies.
Yeah, I would have liked more with them because they really intrigued me at the beginning by saying, oh, we're not here for her, we're here for you. And I would have liked to know, more about how that worked. More of their, I guess, back and forth. I didn't feel that they played for the length, they played the right role, or the right amount. But
let me put it in these terms. This is essentially equivalent to like a 4-issue limited series. If this had been 12 issues of a regular series and they had really built up the character of Danielle, and then she had died at the end, I feel like that would have been an honest tragedy. But I don't feel like there was enough build-up.
The tragedy isn't about Danielle.
Yeah, it's not about. It's about Wonder Woman.
The tragedy is about Diane.
And I really feel adding 50 pages to this would have made it tedious.
You don't need to know anything about Danielle except that Diane invests in her.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I think that it did need more to me, especially with the Furies, because you see, Wonder Woman's scared of them. Right, and that's not not scared and I don't know if scared's the word.
She's
apprehensive
by their presence.
Because she knows what they mean.
Yeah, but we don't.
Well, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if it was longer, you would get that feeling. You would get sort of okay, this is ancient shit. in the works, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I
guess
think the story opens with that.
I did want more of that. I wanted to learn about the things that were going on.
I think Rucka's trying to walk a fine line, though, right? I think that he is trying to evoke specifically old school Greek tragedy by having it end abruptly. I think he's trying to evoke ancient Greek myth by kind of making the assumption that you'll know who these figures are. Like, I think one of the big hallmarks of Rucka's run is that he has Grecian figures show up, and he doesn't tell you who they are. It would be helpful for you to go back and grab, Campbell's Greek myths or Wikipedia or something to know that, these are the Furies. Like, the only importance to the play or the story is that like, at the end of the day, this story isn't. I want to find the right way to frame this. This isn't a story about Wonder Woman in the sense that, like, you're in her head absolutely and know what she's thinking and know what that means for the world. This is a story where you see the world as it's affecting Diane, and this is mostly about how she responds to it. You're looking more at her reactions than about her person and her train of thought. I mean, you have access to it. But the Fury showing up, the important part isn't what they do or why they do it. The important part is Diane is concerned and knows that she should do X, Y, or feels that she should do X, Y, and Z about it. It isn't important, per se, what Danielle is or does, although those things become more relevant to create more tension. It's more about how does Diane respond to the invocation of this specific thing.
Yeah, and I think that I don't feel that Rucka really drops the Furies or the Erinyes in here without any kind of warning. Like, there's a whole opening sequence where Diana is talking about the Hiketeia and about what that entails and about what happens when you offer somebody succor and asylum and then turn your back on them. That they don't like that. They're going to fucking kill you if you do that.
And she also implies that they will do everything in their power to force, like, that they'll kind of heckle and intimidate.
Yeah, I mean, then that's kind of I think there's a lot of foreshadowing going on here, because I think the entire point is about how there is. I mean, it's not so much that there is no right answer. It's that vengeance is required, and yet vengeance begets vengeance, right? Like, there's no way out of this. This is just it's an infinite loop, right? So, like, doing the right thing is also doing the wrong thing. The Furies go to Danielle. They say, we require that you avenge your sister. She goes and she avenges her sister, and they show up for her. Right. I think this is more about, and while, I agree with you completely. This is about Diana. This is about Diana's reaction to that, and about the fact that she is a person of principle. She is a person that takes these obligations she has, these ancient obligations, and she takes them seriously. She takes them as seriously, if not more so, than anything else and any other obligation in her life, to the point where she's willing to put the most important things behind them. And so I think it's supposed to, is the ending unsettling to me? Yes. Would I have liked a scene at the end where, like, Batman's like, you knew that this was unavoidable, right? And Diana going, that would have, I honestly believe that fucking deflates the rest of the story. I think you're supposed to walk away from this going, there was no right answer. See, everybody involved was damned.
And I'm not saying that the ending needed changing. Like, I was saying that for Toby, if there was a better ending, okay. But I feel that the ending could have stayed the same, but there could have been more meat in it, more.
And I just feel like that would have made it tedious. Like, I feel like this book is a good length.
Well,
maybe an extra page here and there, but like 50 extra pages about what?
I guess
about
the thing
Danielle?
coming for me is that
basically I'm looking at it as this was a 4-issue series, and I would have liked it to be a 6-issue series.
Yeah.
I think
It's
that
like-
there were some structural changes that would go along with it, but I feel like it would have been a heftier story.
I liked this story. I really did. And I liked this book. And I wanted more. That's why I say it could have been longer. There could have been more things.
Rucka's notorious for saying he'd rather leave people wanting more than playing out past his thing, and I think that's actually not I think that is a criticism that has been leveled at him before.
Yeah, no.
That sometimes he tends to wrap things
and
up
that's fair.
relatively
And it does,
fast.
It does
in
make me
certain
want
senses.
to read more of his Wonder Woman stuff. Absolutely. But if we're looking at just this part, I did feel bad on the Swamp Thing episode because I was like, oh, it does get better after this. Like, your points are still valid because you're looking at these specific things, and I was looking at more so. And now I'm coming from the other side, whereas like looking at just this piece as a whole, I wanted more. Like, I mean, that was mainly it. I really liked it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of great things in this story. Like, you really do get a sense of Diana as a character in a way that you don't in a lot of stuff. Again, I love J.G. Wentworth's artwork, the way that he draws J.G. Jones, excuse me. J.G. Jones's artwork, the way that he draws Batman's cape, how heavy it looks. Like,
I also really like how the scenes that have Batman in it, the Furies in the background are all normal women, and when he's not there, they're drawn as the Furies again.
Right.
I love the interaction between Batman and Diana. Like, it's an incredibly strong, complex relationship between the two of them. There's been just an awful lot of ink spilled over the years about the relationship between Batman and Superman and the dualism between the two of them. And there's a lot of talk about Superman and Wonder Woman and their relationship, especially in the last few years where they've had an actual romantic relationship. But Batman and Wonder Woman as a pair, I think, has not gotten as much play over the years as it really should have, or at least could have. And I think that there are a lot of really strong scenes between the two of them in this story. And I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I just wish I had gotten more of that.
I think one of my favorite things about Greg Rucka as a writer is he's not afraid to put Batman on his ass when he deserves to be down there, and he does it in this. He does it in. I think he does it. He does it in Bruce Wayne Fugitive too, doesn't he? I'm almost positive he's writing Batman at that point, where like he's like, oh, "I'm gonna go in your house, Diana," and Diana's like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "I'm sorry for this," and she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." Because you're a man. At the end of the day, you're a man. I'm a fucking god. All right.
She kicks him out a window.
And she punches the shit out of him. I love it. And I said this when Brant pitched it. I love Batman. He's definitely my favorite DC character. And I can never decide if he's my favorite comic book character, but he's definitely one of them. But there is nothing I love more than watching Batman get his ass handed to him because he deserves it on so many occasions.
Well, it's not even just when he gets his ass handed to him. It's because Batman operates from a position of strength.
Yeah.
That whole I am the night thing. Like, I am this terrifying thing. I know more. I have plans. I am stronger, faster, better than any normal human. And Batman becomes most interesting, I feel, when he moves outside of his context. When he's getting his ass beat. When he's being funny. The episode of Justice League Unlimited when Wonder Woman gets turned into a pig,
it's a good
and he
one.
has to sing the blues song. Like, is that? I'm right. That's the blues. He's
Yeah,
singing.
no. He
Like,
sings
that's
Am I
an
Blue?
incredibly hilarious moment, but it's also a very poignant and a very moving moment because Batman is being taken outside of his normal context, and he's operating from a position of not strength. And I
Well-
think Batman is always the most interesting when he is operating from a position of not strength.
I disagree with you because, of course, Batman can sing, and of course, he knows he can sing, so of course he's going to do
Right,
that.
but that's outside of the normal Batman context. We don't
But,
think of
but-
him as somebody
I mean,
who sings.
and
but
well, I
at the
agree-
end of the day, it's like, yeah, of course he can.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but I am not talking about any of that. I'm not talking about meta-contextual Batman being put in a place where he's powerless or has less power than he's used to. I'm talking about specifically, I love nothing better than when Batman is like, I'm Batman, I am the Knight, and somebody else goes, no, you're an asshole, and then hits him really hard. It's the most satisfying thing. It's satisfying when Hal does it and fucking
Are you about...
Rebirth?
Wow.
Yeah, I make no bones about how I like Green Lantern Rebirth.
I actually hated that moment.
Jeff Johns.
Did not care for that at all.
Well, we're not
Why?
talking about you, all right?
Because it's specifically a reversal of Batman laying Guy out, and it feels to me like Jeff Johns is going, no, fuck you, Batman. Green Lanterns are better.
No, but it feels very organic in the
It's
moment.
that
It's
moment.
fan service.
It is
Yes,
fan
it
service.
is, and it felt gratuitous to me.
Well,
Because
Well,
we all
but-
know how much Jeff Johns loves to masturbate over old Green Lantern comics.
Yeah, but this one fucking worked.
I see. So when Jeff Johns masturbates over old comic books, it's bad. But when other artists...
Wait, hold on. I'm going to call Toby out on this. When Grant fucking Morrison does it, it's okay, right? It's fucking
No,
high art.
it's not.
Yeah, that's why you love... We fucking argued about the ending of Animal Man, which is exactly that. It's masturbation of the highest fucking order. I'm Grant Morrison. I'm writing your book right now. Oh, would you like to come along on this meta-contextual journey with me? No, fuck you, Grant Morrison. I don't want to come along on this meta-contextual journey with you. I want you to fucking write a comic book.
The thing is that when he did it the first time, it was interesting.
I mean,
when Jeff Johns had Hal Jordan layout, it was interesting.
it was good.
That was
I don't
already a
care.
reversal of a thing that had been done once.
Your approval of that scene is not required for me to enjoy it, and I enjoy the
Well,
shit
that's
out of
And
it.
I never said that it was. I'm just saying that you're wrong. and
I-
I'm right.
Wow.
Anyways, when Nightwing lays him out in Bruce Wayne Fugitive, it's fucking great. And when Diana lays him out in this, it's great. And the only scene that's greater than that is when she fucking puts her boot on his head and says, "Stay down."
I screenshotted that.
That is a fucking
That's
great
my
moment right
favorite
there.
moment.
And I think a secret part of me loves that scene because as somebody that was once in the Batman Always Wins camp, I just love the thought of the looks on people's faces that are in that camp, firmly entrenched in that camp, which is a ridiculous camp. You need to get out of it. When she's just like, what the fuck is he going to do? What is he going to do? Batman just lost that. He lost.
I think when I read that scene, I actually was expecting him to get back up. Like, as I was kind of scrolling through, I was like, oh, yeah, he's totally going to get back up. The fight's going to continue, and then he's going to leave and be like, I'll be back. And that didn't happen at all. He, like, sort of slunked away.
Because I mean,
Lost.
he lost big time. And it brings myself to, like, the cover of this trade is fucking Wonder Woman's boot on Batman's head.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. I mean,
Which I think is also kind of a funny part of fan service back to some of the dominatrix style
oh,
stuff. that-
well, yeah. I mean,
heralding to that.
I definitely
Yeah.
think so.
Well, the thing that's interesting to me is that Rucka had, I think Fugitive had come out before this, if I recall correctly, is that one of the characterizations that Rucka brought to Batman was kind of clarifying, because this happens in No Man's Land too, where it's like, yes, Batman is often prepared, but he's not, like, insane, as in for that particular scale of insanity.
yeah.
Like, he's not going to stay in a situation that obviously is going to lead to his immediate death, dismemberment, or peril. Like, he's not above retreat. It's just
No,
that
no,
normally he
absolutely.
tries to put himself in a position where he wouldn't need to.
Oh, no, I agree with you completely. I think
And
that's...
he leaves conversations one sentence before it would become awkward. Because he doesn't want to have that part of the conversation.
Well,
he
no,
just wants
totally.
to fucking disappear.
Like, Batman never says goodbye to somebody and then ends up walking with them to the car. Like, he's too good for that.
Exactly.
And on a long enough scale, yes, Batman's odds of winning go way, way up. Like, I mean, no, I'm not going to argue that either. That's what makes him compelling, is that you can beat him down, and he will eventually come back. He is tenacious. But in the face of, it reminds me of the Wolverine Lobo fight from back in the day when they were Wolverine stalwarts going, oh, Wolverine would win. And I was like, first of all, Wolverine's first appearance was in a Hulk book where he couldn't kill the Hulk because he couldn't pierce his skin with his claws because he wasn't strong enough. And if he can't do that to the Hulk, Lobo is a more powerful person. I'm sorry. Even if he's the same powerful, Like, the same level of power, he can't do it. So Wolverine loses. And I'm sorry, I feel the same way about the Batman-Superman fight, right? You can say, of course, it would be a writing tool to do whatever, but, like...
There's this podcast and YouTube video series by Mr. Sunday Comics, and he had a video up that was the 5 ways in which Batman.
Oh, was it the British guy?
Yeah, it's
I saw that.
He's like the 5 ways that Batman could beat Superman. And then he's like, people have asked me to do the response, and so he's like, here are the 50 ways Superman would beat Batman in a fight. Yeah. He's like, and he'd like pull, like at one point he's like, I'll cut off his left arm, cut off his right arm. But, he's like sucking all the air out of the room with his super breath. Like, he goes through all these ridiculous ways. He's like, punch Bruce Wayne in the face.
What you're saying, Superman can French kiss you to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if anyone ever, like, gets really amped up about the whole thing, that one really, like, gets me just giggling about the whole situation.
Superman
I think
could give you
hilarious,
CPR to death.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it is true. I did appreciate the fact that it was like, here are these very specific instances wherein Batman beats Superman. Here are these very general instances in which Superman just fucking kills Batman. Just kills him.
Fly back in, what was it? It was like fly back in time and prevent him from becoming Batman.
Yeah.
Go back in time and kill his parents. Go back in time and kill him.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah,
sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, well, I was just going to say that I think what I like the most about this book is that, which kind of gets into a little bit of that, right? When you talk about Superman and Wonder Woman and you say, well, they're very powerful, like when people say things like Superman isn't compelling because he's not relatable, right? Or like, well, it's like, Wonder Woman she's got the speed of fucking somebody and the wisdom of Athena and like all this shit, right?
Wait, isn't that?
I can't remember. I know it's
Hermes?
not the speed of Hermes because that's Shazam. But
Yeah, I was going to say.
She's got the speed of Mercury,
Yeah.
who is fucking Hermes. So come on.
Which is weird because Mercury's Roman.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be the other way around.
Maybe it's, because the
Mercury
H.
is
No, wait.
Roman.
The H in Shazam is...
Hercules.
Hercules.
Wisdom of Solomon.
He's got the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules. He's got the strength and flexibility of Gumby and Hercules.
He's got something from Zeus.
But
Speed of Mercury. That's the M.
That's the speed of it. So yeah, so she's got the speed of Hermes, all this stuff. But
something from Apollo, I think.
Is there really a list for Wonder Woman?
There really is.
No. For Captain
Shazam,
Marvel.
but there is
I
a
know.
list for Wonder Woman. There really is a list for Wonder Woman.
Marvel.
It's on
Shazam.
powers and
You
abilities.
can't say that. You're not allowed. We're going to get sued. Shazam. He's only Shazam.
Whoa, like
No,
Brant
the-
just turned into a really
Trademarks
like
are
large
different from
guy with a cape.
copyrights.
No, it
and
doesn't
then
matter. We're
back
going to get
into
sued.
Billy Batson. It was really
We're going to get a
weird.
cease and desist for calling him Captain Marvel. We'll be taken off the air. Shazam. He's Shazam. I'm sorry, Marvel. He's Shazam.
It just happened again.
We are so sorry.
Brant just went from Billy Batson into Captain Marvel. back
Oprah
in
Winfrey never
Shazam.
said that.
Shazam.
Like
Damn it, Joe.
Dude, the lightning is killing me. Stop.
Chard would
crazy.
be very, very happy if we got a cease and desist for him that he could hang
He's
up on
been
his
trying
wall.
to get one forever. He really has been.
But I did want to ask Kayleigh, you've been relatively quiet over there. Are there any elements
Yep.
of the comic that we have not touched upon that you would like to bring up, or would you like to just give us your general sense of the work?
I guess general sense, like I growing up just super into Greek mythology, had like tons and tons and tons of different collections. I would fight with other kids about like, no, it wasn't Pandora's box, you idiot. It was her jar. God, you're so wrong.
They didn't even have boxes back then.
Yeah, pretty much. I was one of those kids. So it was really fun to read because I had that background knowledge of like who the Furies were and like what this meant, like things like that. I was going to say something and I just forgot it. My biggest issue was with the girl. I felt like she could have been fleshed out a little bit more. But generally, I enjoyed it. If I had to take the option between this work not being created exactly the way that I wanted it to and it being not created at all, I would definitely want it to be in existence. So there's a thing.
High praise.
I guess I wanted around.
It's all right. No, I really enjoyed it. And something I thought was really cool, I don't know if anybody caught on to this, was like the imagery of when she dies and the blood around her mouth, which looked exactly like the Furies. Because the Furies had their blood, like the blood around their mouth. I thought that was really cool. I had like a...
I definitely
geek out
noted that and wasn't quite sure what to make of that imagery.
I wasn't either, but I was still, I like showed it to my manager because I was reading that at work. I was like, oh, this is so cool because they did this thing here. And he does not care. But anyway, just generally imagery in it, general characterization. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about it. It is a strong work.
Mm.
Okay. Sorry. I don't mean to say okay. I mean, it sounded like I was dismissive of your point of view. That was not
Okay,
my attempt.
whatever.
I
Okay.
was
You have been furiously poking at your device
Yes.
for minutes.
So the strength of Gaia, the wisdom of Athena.
Yes.
Artemis gave her the eyes of the hunter and unity with beasts. That hasn't come up very much. Hestia gave her sisterhood with fire.
Wait a minute. You don't remember the whole
Hermes
Unity
gave her the
with
speed.
Beasts
No.
When
storyline
she
in Wonder
sings
Woman?
the song and the birds
Where
and the
she
deer come
talks-
around her.
She talks with the animals and
Then
walks with the
she
animals.
meets
and-
some dwarves and
Yeah.
goes to sleep for a couple years.
Anyway,
Yeah, that
Hermes gave him speed. Aphrodite gave her stunning beauty and a kind heart. Technically not invulnerable. Highly resistant.
That's weird. They're all goddesses except for Hermes.
Well, and depending on...
happens. Hermes is a goddess. I mean, look at him.
well, he's hermaphroditic.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And he's actually, and if I recall correctly, he's actually displayed as such in the current run of
Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman.
I did not know
I've
that.
don't remember.
I know
Wonderful
that
Either.
Hermes is the patron god of like secrets and magic and shit.
And messengers. And
That's why the Order of Hermes is like a big deal in arcanist circles, Gnostic, whatever. Mumble, mutter. Yeah.
More secret than the Illuminati and the Masons.
Cade, what did I fucking tell you about mentioning the Illuminati on air?
I'm sorry.
We're so sorry,
There-
Marvel. We didn't mean to mention the Illuminati.
There are two rules. There are two rules in the Illuminati. One, we do not talk about the Illuminati. And two, we have fried chicken every Wednesday. All right?
Doesn't
That's
that?
it.
Aren't you going to be killed now because you just confirmed the
Oh,
existence
you
of?
fucked us both, Cade. God damn it.
Chard, bleep all of that.
Nobody can know of our secret.
All right. Cade, did you have anything that you wanted to add about the book?
I think I got everything out already. Just arguing with people.
Okay.
Well, what could we argue about more?
I guess that's settled then. Is there anything else that we want to say, or do we want to move on to recommendations?
I think it was a
Wait
good
a
book,
minute.
and I think it's a strong Wonder Woman book. I think it's definitely...
I got a question for everybody.
What's that?
Better or worse than League of One?
I was actually just going to say that
I
at the
like
end of
it.
the day,
I like it
I
better.
think if I had to recommend a Wonder Woman story to somebody, I would recommend a League of One first.
I would
think
recommend
I
this
would
first.
as well. Or, okay, since I talked over Joe, I would recommend A League of One because I think that's in my top 10 books of all time, actually.
Wow.
That but this is very close.
Yeah, I think
Not
that I
very
would
close to
say
my top 10, but very
If
close
you-
behind him as a Wonder Woman book.
If you want to get into Wonder Woman, read A League of One first, then read this, then go on to the rest of Rucka's series.
Now read this first, then read A League of One. Actually, read A League of One and this at the same time.
Just like have them next to each other and just go panel, and just go across the page.
One with each eye.
That would lead to a very confusing chain of events.
Where
And then
did the
Batman
goblin
goes
go?
to sleep, and then he's in the house.
Where did
Then the dragon
where did
is
that goblin
there.
go? And who's this
Batman's
women?
coming from
And when did
inside
the
the
Furies
house.
get here?
The Furies are controlling the dragon.
This was the first modern age Wonder Woman story that I read, actually. And it was probably I want to say it was my first introduction to Greg Rucka.
You want to know the first modern age Wonder Woman story I ever read?
What? Was it George Perez?
No. The first comic book that I ever... Well, I'm pretty sure this was the first time I ever read Wonder Woman in a comic book because I had this before I started picking up JLA regularly. Was Amalgam Comics. Wonder Woman versus Thor.
Nice.
Nice. This is actually the last Wonder Woman story I've ever read. Because I just read it.
You will be dead.
Yes. We
By
will be
tomorrow.
you at the mic stands.
All right.
Kayleigh, what about you?
This is my only Wonder Woman story I've ever read.
Didn't you read League of One with us?
Nope.
No,
Well,
Kayleigh
we
was
should-
not here for that.
For some reason, I thought she was. Well, I will give you League of One. And you
Was Kirby? Because we get confused constantly.
No, I don't think either of you were actually on that
Women,
episode.
they all look alike to me.
Yeah, right.
Kev, blah, 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 whatever that chick's name is.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that.
The recommendations.
Yes, recommendations, except I have an announcement first before we get to recommendations. We gave him a shout out on our episode of Back Matter that hasn't aired yet and probably won't air until long after this episode has gone out. But I wanted to give a shout out to Ali Joffrey, who drew us some kick-ass fucking fan art and had a bunch of prints made up and sent them to us so that we each have one now.
I'm getting mine framed.
I have already framed mine and put it up on my wall. These things are fucking kick-ass. We posted images on the website and on our Facebook page, so if you haven't looked at those, you should go and check them out. We should, and you should check out Ollie Joffrey's website, which I linked to. And we're not going to make it our album cover because announcement, we're going to have a new logo soon-ish, maybe, probably. It's being worked on.
Well, it sounds like somebody else already did all the good work. I'm just
Somebody very near and dear to us who we will thank when that actually becomes a real thing.
You know who
right
you are.
Now, thank you, Ollie
wait.
Joffrey. Everybody go check out his artwork, check out his website, and if you like it, buy a print from him, maybe. Why not? Because that would be a cool thing.
No,
to do.
not why not. Do it.
Do it.
Do
Yeah,
it
Does he
now.
sell the View from the Gutters print?
He did not have it up on his store. I don't know if we have to give him permission to do that. I don't know what the licensing issues are with that. Maybe it's something we could talk about if people want to get them.
I have a recommendation for Toby. Just shut his poopy mouth.
Why? He's doing good work here. Don't be mean.
I mean, not for that. That was bad timing.
I was done.
I mean, just in general.
Also, another question. Is there a time we are going to meet him so that he can sign our prints?
You know, I don't even know where he lives.
Oh.
Lots of people don't live here. I've discovered this recently. It's weird.
Yeah, it's odd how we aren't the center of the universe.
I just would expect everybody that listens to the show to live within...
To know us, like, in person. Why else would you listen to us?
Thanks, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, wait.
Because the show
God,
is
your mom
awesome.
listens because my fucking parents don't listen.
My parents don't listen.
My mom
Thank
listens
God.
to every episode.
My
That's
mom.
because your mom is awesome, which
My
I don't
mom
think
is
she's ever
awesome.
heard me actually, even though I've said that before, I don't know that she's ever heard me say that in a way that she could ever hear. So I will say that officially, that your mom kicks ass.
Sure,
It
she'll
is
say thank
actually
you for that.
It is one of my life goals to meet the progenitors of Tobiah.
Progenitors.
Progenitors. Oh, what the fuck ever, man.
Generators,
Anyway.
those from whose loins Tobiah did emerge.
Yes, from both of their loins. Simultaneously.
What did I say?
I'm going to guess that your mom
What-
has something specific to say about that.
What emphasis?
He
What
didn't do that
emphasis on which syllable did I do there? What did I say? Tell me what I said.
You said progenitors.
Did I say? Okay.
And it's
So I basically
progenitors.
just added ators to progeny,
Yes.
and it's progenitors.
Yes.
Because it's one of those stupid words where the emphasis changes when you make it longer.
Sure.
Yes.
So, Brant,
Yes.
what would you like to recommend this week?
I would like to recommend The Adventures of Barry Ween, Boy Genius, Volumes 1 and 2.
Have we still not fucking picked that goddamn book?
We haven't, but why don't
Oh
we
my
talk
God.
about the big book?
The Big Book of Ween?
I don't know.
We can just talk
It's
about all of it.
All of it.
It's
The whole
the
thing.
4
It's-
trades and then a special one with
There's 4
Greg
trades?
Rucka.
There are 4 trades and a special one-shot that crosses over with Whiteout.
Whiteout. And it's $19.95 at your local comic shop.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, and like it feels big, but it's honestly a quick read.
Oh, it's
Really?
very
Barry
quick
Ween is a
read.
quick read.
I read it in like. Well,
Also the greatest
I
thing Jeff
read
Winnick
it
ever
like
wrote.
every few months.
Do you want to say about it a little bit, Brant, just in case somebody's listening for the first time and hasn't heard the 4 other pitches we've done for it?
My mind is blown. I think I'm behind somehow on this beloved series of mine. Barry Ween, boy genius, born super. Well, basically, it's sci-fi humor, adventure, action comic about Barry Ween and his lovable sidekick, co-conspirator Jeremy, and they get into fun science action adventures and engage folks like the military and other people, and shenanigans ensue. And he's like an irreverent, loudmouth, cussing type child.
The way I always think about Barry Ween is if you took South Park, kind of stripped it of its whole need to like make fun of everything, and replaced that with a lot of heart and like good, solid, like just feel good stuff, and then crossed it over with Dexter's Lab, you would have Barry Ween.
Yeah, I like to think of it as Dexter's Lab had been an Adult Swim cartoon.
It would have been, yeah.
It would have been Barry Ween.
And it is fan-fucking-tastic. I
It's
cannot
Judd
believe.
Winnick in his early days. And I honestly think to this date it's some of his sharpest work. It really
I think
absolutely
it's
is.
hands down the
The-
best stuff he's ever done. I
the
think
humor
he's
is amazing. It's a really interesting story. There's time travel.
several times.
Everybody loves time travel.
Dimensional travel. There's swearing like a sailor.
There's
There's
lightsabers.
nudity.
There's giant psychic gorillas.
There's clones.
It's sweet.
There are a bunch of old Western people talking about boy horrors.
I never have
pretty
too
great.
many old West type boy whores.
It's
That's
pretty
what my
great.
pappy always used to say. He never said that.
So I think maybe I'm just mistaken because I thought I only had 2 or 3 trades, or 1 or 2 trades, but I think I actually have more because, to the best of my knowledge, nothing new has been released. Of Barry
No.
Ween.
No, if you have all of it, then you have 4 trades. Or you have the big book.
I don't have the big book,
Then you have 4 trades.
but I guess in that collected 4 trades, there's not the whiteout crossover.
No,
No.
it's not. That actually did come out a bit later.
That was
I want to say that came out in like 2008 or something.
See, I don't have that either. I've never read that.
I read it, but I don't own it. I think I borrowed somebody's copy.
Anyway, it's irreverent. It's funny.
Sweet.
And it's well drawn. Judd Winnick
That
has art
used for
skills.
$5
Yeah.
at our local comic shop.
That's a
and
good buy.
I have been meaning to sell my 4 trades because I have the big book.
That's a lot of nuts.
Want more, Judd Winnick? Do it.
So, Kayleigh, what did
Do
you
it.
bring?
Just do it. John.
I brought Pretty Deadly by Kayleigh Fleeman. I really enjoy it. It's about Deathface Ginny and Big Alice. And Deathface Ginny is like Death's daughter, and it's a fantastic read. It's Western, fantastic story. I don't know. It's good. It's a good story. I don't want to tell too much because I feel like a lot of things are spoilers. But it's just a very well written story about Deathface Ginny, who rides on the wind to avenge you.
I'm becoming very suspicious about something. You work for Kayleigh Fleeman, don't you? You're trying
No,
to
I just
use
want to
our
be
platform to.
It's a Western put out by Image and with
Who draws it?
an entirely female cast, isn't it? Or mostly female
Mostly.
Kayleigh,
There's a few men.
If I go into your room, am I going to find a secret diary where it's just page after page after page of you writing the words Mrs. Kayleigh DeConnick?
No,
No, it's not secret.
No, it's
Kayleigh
Mrs.
Sue DeConnick.
Kayleigh Left DeConnick. So, it's Kate Leth. She's my other favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is done in
So-
a cutesy high school, like kind of high school affectation.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
Not like
little
creepy serial
hearts.
killer, like cutouts of their photos,
There's little
and I will be
cutesy
them
hearts
one
and
day.
Lisa Frank
We'll be them one
stickers
day.
everywhere.
Okay, excellent.
There is nothing horrific about the art of collage, Brant. What are you talking about? That
You're
could
right.
never be creepy.
You're right. We won't discuss
If
the
I go
giant
into
one on your
your
wall.
room, will there be creepy collages everywhere?
Unfortunately, I do not have the talent of the collage. All right, cool. Pretty deadly.
Hate you all.
No, you love us. Love us.
Yes. Read my blog post for further information about that.
Yes, everyone should read Cade's blog post. Joe, what did you bring this week?
Next Monday, will be basically our Halloween show because it'll come out right before. Well, I mean, we record on Mondays. Oh my God, I've let out a huge secret.
That is
You've
a
ruined
secret.
You've ruined the illusion. This is no
Charlie,
longer a
bleep that
magical
out.
process.
It's not. We actually record in a room outside of time, so I couldn't tell you what day it is.
Kang, stop touching me.
But
Yeah,
yes, next
right. Dimension
week's
X.
episode will
Next
be
week's
the
episode-
Wednesday before Halloween.
But before Halloween. So I'm going to pitch a Halloween book. And since everybody has been giving me shit about my pronunciation lately, I want to make sure I get this one exactly right. So it's Beutmion, the Longe Halo Wine, I think is what it's called. I might be wrong about that.
No, that's
Many
right.
umlauts.
And it's
I love the long
it's
Hello
by
line.
Jeppe Loeb and Time Saleh, I think is who it's by.
Team
All
Saleh.
100% correct.
Team Saleh.
Jeez.
And yeah, so
yeah,
Batman, The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. It's a 12-issue out-of-continuity story. Basically, each issue takes place on a holiday, and there's one on each month, although I think they have to I think there's a couple in there where I was like, wait a minute, that's not actually a holiday. I think there's an Arbor Day one. There's not an Arbor Day one. But it's really great.
Flag Day.
that's a
Flag
literally
Day?
the holiday I was going to name.
There is a Flag Day one, isn't there?
I don't.
There's a Flag Day and Arbor Day and Boxing Day. It's really weird.
Administrative Professionals Day.
And Secretary's Day and
No, it's Administrative Professionals Day.
oh, I
Jeff.
apologize.
Get with
That's
the
true.
times.
I told you it's an alternate universe, Toby.
Yeah, it's out of continuity.
It's out of continuity.
There's still secretaries in Gotham.
But this is the first Jeff Loeb and Tim. I'm saying this like I have it in my hand. I actually do not. I have it at home on my
It's
bookshelf.
right over there.
Yeah, the Absolute Edition.
No, actually,
It was.
there's another one on top of the Absolute Edition.
It was the first Loeb.
No, the
Incorrect.
one I'm bringing is.
I'm sorry. Can I not finish my fucking sentence?
No.
Because I'll guarantee you it was the first Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale book collaboration that I read.
Oh,
What's up now?
I thought
What's
you were
up
gonna say
now?
the
It's not,
What's
Joe.
up now?
I have video of you reading a different one.
I have video of you reading a Hulk Gray. It's not true. It's not true.
Since Chart is
Greg.
not here, I will do the honors of saying I fucking hate this show.
It was the first collaboration between the two that I've read. I think everything about it. Well, I think most everything about it is really, really great. It's a detective story, which I really like. It gets into the
Batman's a
relationship
detective?
between.
Only in the comics.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, did I pronounce it wrong? Is it detective? It's a detective story.
Hey, it's a detective story.
Detective story. I'm from Australia all of a sudden. It's Batman being the world's greatest detective. It delves into the relationship between him and some of, I think, my favorite Batman villains, but I think some of the fan favorite villains too. But
Calendar Man. everybody's
also some
favorite.
of like the not as well known.
Yeah,
villains.
they do a good job of sampling some unknown.
They really do, and there's some really great stuff between him and Harvey Dent going on too, which I think has always been a fascinating relationship to me as far as the comics go, and I really like stories that delve into that. It's a treat for the eyes. Tim Sale's artwork is, I think, incredible in it, and it's probably one of my favorite Batman stories, and I think it'll be a good read for Halloween. It's creepy. It's got
Who's spooky?
It's got spooky, scary. It's got serial killer and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, Batman: The Long Halloween. Jeff
Nice.
Loeb, Tim Sale. That's my pitch.
Good deal. Cade, what do you got?
So last year for Halloween, I recommended The Long Halloween, and this year I didn't want to, although I'm glad that somebody did. This time I brought Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's first work on Batman, which was Batman: The Haunted Knight. And this is 3 short stories, originally published as the Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween specials. And they were collected into a trade. The newer trade is actually looks like it belongs in the Long Halloween set with Dark Victory. But it does have the same stuff as the old one that I have. So I'm holding it up, but you guys can't see it.
I can't see it because you're not holding it high enough. There we go. Okay.
So yeah, 3 short stories.
I can confirm it is indeed the book he was talking about.
3 short stories about Halloween and Batman.
Nice. And that's Batman the what now?
Haunted Night.
Haunted Night.
Haunted Night. Awesome. So this week, I am bringing an indie book. I am bringing Dave by Ryan Ferrier and Valentine Ramon, published by Monkey Brain Comics. And the plot of Dave is that basically the robots have risen up and wiped out all human life on Earth. And then they decide that's not good enough. We got to wipe out all the life in the galaxy. And so they do that. They spend thousands of years exterminating all organic life in the entire galaxy. And then they come home to Earth and just kind of chill out there and live like humans. And the story is about this guy named Dave, who is basically like one of the premier hunter-killer robots in the genocide of all life in the galaxy. And now he has this shitty like middle management, like white-collar job that he fucking hates. And his wife is a bitch, and his son doesn't respect him, and everything is fucking awful. And he hates it and wants to die. And then aliens, like living organic aliens, show up, and shit gets crazy. And the aliens invade, and there's a big fight, and Dave has to, like, figure out what he wants to be in his life. And it's a really cool, fun story. It was a limited series. All of Monkey Brain books are digital-only publications. It was a 5-issue series. You can pick up all 5 issues for 99 cents each off of Comixology. And it's just kind of a cool, fun read with lots of violence and explosions and partial nudity. So, yeah, that's Dave. Spelled D4VE.
Well, that spells D4VE. That in no way spells Dave.
Dave.
No, it's D4VE.
That's Dave. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Davi. So, Brant.
I think it spells fuck you.
What would you like to vote for?
Pretty Deadly. Kayleigh Sue DeConnick.
Kayleigh?
I'm going to go with the Long Halloween.
I'm going to go for Barry Ween.
You broke the chain. We were voting for the person to our left. No.
Wow,
Yeah, but I'm not going to vote for the guy that has a Batman book in competition with me.
Only one man brings Batman. That's me.
Two bats enter, one leaves.
I don't want to vote.
You have to vote, Cade. You do this a lot, and I'm sorry, man. I mean,
because like I want to vote for Barry Ween because I've brought it 4 times
Then
and
vote
it
for
still
Barry.
hasn't
Vote
been
for
picked.
it.
But it's also Halloween, and I want to talk about the Long Halloween because I
Halloween
brought
is-
that one and nobody has picked it.
If anyone, if all these various Halloween things that we love and adore, Nightmare Before Christmas, the Long Halloween, have taught us anything, is that Halloween's in our hearts, Cade. We can talk about it anytime.
You
Barry
can-
it's
Ween,
Halloween.
that shit apparently don't show up. It shows
Except
up
on
plenty, but we
Halloween.
never get to talk about
We
it.
can't fucking talk about it on Halloween. That'd be wrong.
No, it'd be perfectly proper and correct.
So what are you voting for, Cade?
time to take Old Yeller in the backyard, Cade. It's time to vote.
Barry Ween.
All right. I will vote for Batman Haunted, whatever the fuck it was called.
That's a very sincere vote.
Yeah, really.
Well, literally, it's the only thing that I can vote for except for Barry Ween and not create a tie. So
vote for Barry Ween if you'd rather read that.
I was actually going to vote for it anyway, so I will still vote for Batman, the Haunted whatever.
Haunted whatever. Haunted hot dog.
I'm tired. I have had a long couple of days. I cannot be expected to remember things. So, finally, finally, we will talk about Barry Ween
Oh, Jesus.
on our special Halloween episode.
That has nothing to do with Halloween.
Hey, it rhymes. That's what it has to do with Halloween.
Halloween.
Well, it rhymes
it
because
doesn't
it
rhyme.
comprise the
It's the
same
same word. You wrote a bad song, Petey. Kudos if you know what that's from.
I hate you guys.
If you know what that's
Podcast's
from,
over.
If you know what that's from, you should post it on our Facebook page when this goes up.
You know what that's from. You just won a View from the Gutters $1.
Yeah, that's
Actual value, nothing.
It is. I will find where you are and high five you at some point before you die.
Don't make that promise, Joe.
I won't.
What if somebody
I was
listening to
crossing
this
my
has
fingers.
cancer?
I was crossing my fingers.
Joe, you know that
Dear
anything
Joe.
that you say on the microphone is a binding contract.
I was crossing my fingers. That nulls the contract.
Actually, that is entirely legal. You're allowed to do that.
I learned from the best.
Batman?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for
Podcast
listening.
over. You're
Bye.
all fired.
Podcast over.
Thank you for listening to View from the Gutters. I hope our recommendations have inspired you to go out and find some new comics you'll enjoy. Join us next time for a discussion of our selected title, but like every week, we encourage you to read all of the recommended books. In the meantime, please leave us an iTunes review. It really does help new listeners find the show. You can also link us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube, and follow us on Twitter at ViewFRTHGutters. Feel free to email us at contact@viewfromthegutters.com. Please send us any questions, comments, or recommendations you might have. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as we post new videos every week. And thanks again for listening. And as always, keep reading.